like just like Despia branded. So one thing I'll say is like, because the new format and like a lot of people were playing the previous format YCS the week before, I couldn't find a lot of deck profiles or like stuff to like learn from, so I had to kind of build it from scratch basically. And I kind of got baited because people told me that the new cards suck, and then once I started learning about them, like these new cards are really good. So then I had to start playing them. So yeah. In the main deck, it's 3 Allure, which is like one of the best cards because Surge is the best card in the deck. Triple Tragedy, which is a little unusual. A lot of people play like 2 or 1, and they play 3 McCourier, even in like Allure builds. I think this is a lot better because it combos with more cards besides Allure. And then even in the graveyard, it happens so much where like I will send it to the grave and not even search because it's more relevant to set a card and like kill them like that. And then because I play 3, I also play Ad-Lib, just to have a value search target since I play so many. This card's really good for playing around Book of Eclipse because they Book of Eclipse your Mirror Jade, you can just send it. I've sent this off, even the new Dust Dragon card, just to get access to it, so it happens a lot. Something new with the deck is like triple Albaz. Most people only play 2 before, and like even like some people play 3, but now it's like you have to play 3 because there's like the new Striking Dragon card, which is like if you have an Albaz in your grave, it turns Mirror Jade into like triple interrupt, which is just crazy. So it's super important to end with this card in your grave now. And then like this card is so good that I play 3 more of it. So yeah, this is it's Upstart Goblin, and then if it's in the graveyard, it's Albaz. So and then the Courier, and then some people play 2, but I think 1 is good because it's really only needed for the deck to function. But the second one's really like extra. I don't think you need it. And then this card with deployment, it's like it just lets you play through Ash really easily. Before if you got Ash, you kind of had to like either play around it by searching non-branded fusion, or you would just have to like have tech cards. But now it's like you can get Ash and still have like a good board. And then the last 2 monsters are Soronir and Lubellion. So Soronir I wanted to add because it had a graveyard effect, which is relevant because I'm playing Retribution. So it would give me another way to get Retribution into the grave if I already used Albion that turn. And because I was doing that, I thought Lubellion would be good because I needed a second light because I'm not playing any other monsters. Because Cortita is almost never in the deck, I need a second light monster. But honestly, this could be any light monster. It could be Nibiru, it could be like anything. I had Nibirus in my deck until like maybe Thursday. It's just you want a light monster that you can draw. That's about it. Yeah. So I was a little worried that I might be a little underprepared for the mirror because most of the Despia decks play so many Bestials. But when I was actually testing mirrors, I felt that the Bestials were good, but not like crazy because you could like they're about the same value as other cards that are also good in the mirror. So I kind of supplemented, and Bestials were just not good versus Cash or other decks. So I kind of played a small count, and I supplemented the weakness in the mirror with like other cards that would be good in the mirror. On the spells, triple, the best card in the deck. These 3 at 1. This card is actually crazy. I can't believe I never played this before. It's Miracle Fusion basically, and then you can even summon like non-Albaz fusions. You can make whatever you want as long as you use Albaz. It's Miracle Fusion. You can make Chimera with it. Like it literally has no restrictions. 3 opening. It's just like it's a starter, and like the graveyard protection is so relevant. So this is new, and it's just great. Itali's Cartesia going first, and then Itali's Albaz going second. So when you go first, you summon Cartesia, and then you no longer lose to Imperm because whatever they do, you can like chain diffuse. And then if they don't do anything, then you just make Rangunal and you send Albion, so you have to interrupt with the Mirror Jade, and then there's no coming back. So many times you just set up that board, and even if they eclipse it, you have so many cards in your back row. Like you have Red, Banishment, and like the Lindworm in the grave, Striking Dragon, and then they just won't be able to like play through it. So that's one of the strengths of this deck, is just being like super good into Eclipse, like on both sides, because you can use Eclipse to stop them or use it on your own turn to protect your plays from Imperm, and it doesn't matter because you're a fusion deck, so you can still make your plays. I play 3 Allure. Allure is not everybody plays it, but I think it helps with not just consistency but like power, because you're getting the plus off of anytime you banish Strategy or Courier, and then you're also just digging into like main deck cards, side deck cards, like all your one-ups. Gold Star with McCourier is the main target. It's just like super, like it searches like almost anything in the deck. I don't play Foolish because it can't banish McCourier. And then triple Book of Eclipse. This card is, like I said, it's really good in the format against Cash, but also it's just really good like when you're playing because it's really easy to like stop them, and then Book of Eclipse, and even when your monsters are face down, you can still fuse with them. So you can use it like on either player's turn. It's a super flexible card. Outside of the finals where I had to let him draw 4 cards, which well, not finals, top 8, where I had to let him draw 4 cards, which sucked, but whatever. So as I alluded to, I played some cards that were specifically good in the mirror, and Banishment is one of them. I believe between Lost, Banishment, and Kriskenian, if your opponent does not play as many of those as you do, they're very behind in the mirror. And I only played 2 mirrors, but neither of them played this, and it showed. Like, yeah. Retribution, which is just a send. And then the last 2 cards, these were originally nibs, but I swapped them for evenly matches. When I was testing, I felt like evenly match was just a really good card I was siding it originally. I thought it was really strong, but the problem is that it lost to a lot of other side deck cards. So I decided it'd probably just be good in the main. I only decided to play 2 because I really didn't want to double draw it. And going second with 6 cards and Allures, probably see it enough game 1. I had a game versus Scareclaw where he ended with like Baron Negate, Wandering Griffin Rider, and the token. And then I bait 1 negate with Book of Eclipse and another one with Branded Fusion. And then I just evenly matched him, and he has to keep the token, so he lost the whole game. He lost his whole board. And then extra, yeah. So extra is 2 Mirror Jade, pretty standard. 2 Lubellion, 3 Albion, 2 of this guy, and then I would say that like this card, and the second one, like the second, third, and second are considered Kashtira attacks, but they also just come up randomly, which is good. 1 Titaniclad, which is important for fusing with Kashtira monsters, because this is a huge part of your end board because you're sending it to the grave to summon back Algaz to fuse. This card is just for the Cartesia. So you need to play a target for this. A lot of people play Queritus because the way you make Queritus is still important for your combos. I choose to play this instead because I can explain it, but I actually side Masquerade, so it's actually not. So I actually have like some like leeway with that. And then Guardian Chimera, Boral Furious. So most people play 2 because I'm only playing 1 red and not Patchwork. I don't have a lot of ways to make it. And Furious just comes up a lot against matchups like Labyrinth, so I wanted to include both of them. I would get this banished and I couldn't even make it anyway, so it wasn't a huge deal. And then this card is the 15th. Drago Stavelli is really good under Shifter because you're able to turn that cash monster, you negate it, turn it to level 1, and it's probably the best. If you get Shifted, it's like the best card you can make because you can't use the Mirror Jade effect. So yeah, that's my side deck, my extra deck. For side, triple Ash, basically for the mirror, but it also comes up against Lab. I don't side it in against anything else really. Cross Out is pretty much exclusively for the mirror. I thought this card might be a little too narrow at first, and my teammate actually convinced me to play it. But when I was playing my matches versus the mirror, they actually also sided it, and I realized that if I didn't side this card, I probably would have just lost this mirror. So it's a good thing I sided it. For 1 Dark Hole, I wanted additional outs to Ibli, both side. Originally this was 2 Dark Holes, but I realized that because they use the Shangri-La effect, you can just do 2 Dark Holes and 2 Thrusts. And then, so Thrust can get the Dark Hole for you, and then if you're going first, you're also now able to use the Thrust to get Dimensional Barrier, which is just like crazy against everything. It hits every deck. It's pretty much the only going first card I have in the mirror, in this entire side deck. And the last 3 cards, so I have 2 Cosmic Cyclones. This is a very generic side card. If I'm expecting anti-spell, or if I'm just playing against a deck that's like very interactive, I'd like to side this card just to like snipe skill drains and stuff like that. I didn't think I needed 3 because I play Allure, so I have so much draw power. Yeah, and the last card I sided was Masquerade. So originally, I wanted a card for time. And I didn't want to play this one because it's really hard to use in time because you kind of have to have like 7 minutes or something and then like make it, and then you have to let them play, and it's very easy for them to turn into a draw. But I was convinced on it because, like I said earlier, a lot of the lines, you need a fusion that can be made like Queritus, or they have the same summoning conditions, and so a lot of people use that slot for Queritus when like Kriskenian is just the better card in like a lot of situations. but because I side this, any game after game 1, I can just side this in and side out a card, and then I'll have access to both, or like if I side this out, then I'll have access to this, and it will no longer be an issue. So because of that, it gave me by siding this card, I had the freedom to main this card. This card's insane. In my top 16, I used it to banish an Albion, or he had Albion, I had Albion, so I used my branded. I knew he had Magnum in hand, so I used banishment to bait the Magnum effect, so that he would summon it, and I could trigger Grand Guno will summon this to banish his Albion. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, that's it for the deck. Yeah. Shout out to my teammates again. They carried.
You got carried.
Okay, so we finished X1. My personal record is X2. So I like to say that I didn't get carried, but no X2s made it, so I guess I did get carried. So yeah.
I still think it's pretty good. You coming back after a while, and like you said, you just started playing again last week, so quick study.
And back to retirement now.
And I think you made a good meta call as well. We've been trying to figure out what we think the best meta calls were, if it wasn't Cash, and I think Brandon and Labyrinth were some of the best meta calls.
Yeah, it was actually really helpful. So like the way our team structure is, like our A was he's also playing Despia, but like it's a totally different. It's like blind second, and then our B player is Herman playing Labyrinth, and because he's playing like a trap deck that like kind of doesn't have to like not saying it's like helmet, but he doesn't have to like spend as much time thinking about his plays. I can just like interrupt him at any point in the match. Like stop paying attention to your game and look at my board.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He can
So,
help you.
yeah. Oh, and then because me and like Luca's Despia builds were so like he would nib them game 1, like they play nib, and I'm like, and I'm just like, yeah, we do.
Watch out.
Yeah.
That's a
So.
good strategy.
And it wasn't even intentional, but it ended up working out really well. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the top man. Great to see you.
Congrats.
Thank you for the deck. Well.
Thank you.